Ever wonder if going vegan means spending more on groceries? I definitely used to, until I found these easy hacks that now save me thousands each year, making eating plant-based even cheaper than when I ate meat. So in this video, I'm gonna show you 10 simple, budget-friendly vegan hacks that'll effortlessly keep your wallet full and your meals healthy. Do you hate throwing out your greens because they have such a short life in the fridge? It's like throwing money out the window, and it's especially frustrating if you're like me and you try to eat these as much as possible. Luckily, I found a way that will keep them fresh and ready to use in your fridge for much longer. The key problem is that they start developing moisture, and moisture isn't good for keeping anything fresh. So this trick is a practical way to fix that. All you have to do is, after opening them, put a single paper towel on them. This paper towel will absorb the moisture and keep your greens fresh for much longer. Not only will you save by not having to replace them, but also on future hospital bills, since one study found that greens were the food group associated with the strongest protection against major chronic diseases. All right, y'all, changing scenery for a second. I need to show y'all something real quick. Can y'all tell me why the plant-based Nutella costs more than the regular Nutella for less? The fact of the matter is, vegan products have come a long way. It's not just Nutella. We've got vegan cheeses, vegan meats, vegan everything. But the reality is, they're all considered specialty products, and they're gonna charge you as such. You might think these are staples in a vegan diet, but they really aren't. They're all relatively new vegan products, and vegans were thriving long before these hit the shelves. For example, you don't need Impossible meat to make a vegan bolognese. You can use lentils to replace the mince instead, or textured vegetable protein. And both of those are up to 80 to 90% cheaper than the fake meat. And you can make the same swap if you want to make a shepherd's pie or lasagna, for example. You can also use soy curls or seitan to convincingly replace meat in a lot of recipes. And again, those can be up to 10 times cheaper than the vegan meat products. And if you think about it, the cheapest foods in the grocery store are vegan. Potatoes, oats, bananas, lentils, pasta. Not only are they the cheapest, these foods are filling and versatile, and you can make tons of elaborate meals with just them. A hearty red lentil soup, a high protein pasta, or a warm oatmeal bowl. So an easy way to save money is to base your meals around these staples. I'm not saying never buy vegan meats and cheeses, but you can save a lot of money if you treat them as treats and have them sparingly. I learned that word from the freaking original food pyramid, sparingly. Freaking 8-year-old me. So you might think, okay, but if I'm not having Beyond Chicken, Beyond Meat, then how am I gonna get enough protein? The next hack is the answer. Rather than being a struggle to get protein as a vegan, this next hack is gonna make getting protein the cheapest and most convenient part of your day. Again, you'll be saving 80 to 90% on your protein compared to conventional or vegan meat. The simple trick is eating canned beans. Canned beans are so cheap. You can sometimes find them for less than $1 for an entire can. They are by far one of the cheapest options for protein out there, and they're also full of fiber, so they keep you full. Beans and other legumes are so healthy, as a matter of fact, their consumption has been associated with increased lifespans. You can just pop them on pastas, salads, curries, or make purees out of them to add a huge wallop of both protein and fiber in seconds. You can even find pre-flavored varieties, so you have a lot of choice. Not to mention, you can find them basically anywhere you go. And since they never really go bad, you don't ever have to worry about throwing them out or them spoiling, so just another way it saves you money. But there's actually one way to get your protein and fiber fix that's even cheaper than canned beans, and that's this next hack. Damn, this video just gets better and better, huh? So this next hack basically has all the advantages of canned beans, but takes them one step further. Storage is better, taste can be better, and what you came for, cheaper. All you have to do is buy beans or any legume like lentils and chickpeas in their dried forms. When it comes to cutting your grocery bill, there's really nothing that is quite as good of a deal as dried legumes. But hold on. You're forgetting, there's a huge catch. Cooking dried legumes is a pain in the ass. And I agree, until I learned this next hack. So this next hack is a game changer for vegan cooking, but where it really shines are with these dried legumes. Because let's be real, you gotta soak those things for 6 to 8 hours in advance. You gotta have the foresight to think about what you're gonna eat the next day. And, it's just one more thing to think about, and we aren't all Mexican moms. So this next hack eliminates almost all of those problems. Now, it does require an investment up front, but it quickly pays for itself and will be the best investment your kitchen has seen in years. All right, so the trick is to buy an Instant Pot. You can get one for around $100, and I really recommend the average sized one. You don't need a big one, and a small one might not work as well for our purposes. So with the Instant Pot, you can cook these beans from dried in about an hour or so, but that's not even the best part. With the Instant Pot, you can just set it and forget it. So while your beans cook, you can work on the rest of your meal or just do whatever you want, but you don't have to be watching them. And you can make multiple portions at once, so you can have a week's worth of beans in just 1 hour. And it'll also make eating another cheap food group full of protein and fiber effortless, and that's whole grains. Think bulgur, farro, barley, quinoa, and of course, brown rice. So just like legumes, they're sold dry so they don't spoil, and best of all, they make a delicious pairing with legumes and can even be cooked with them together. And combined with this next hack, the Instant Pot savings will get even deeper. So this summer, I was visiting my friend who lives in Surrey, close to London. Now, this man is an OG vegan, and being British, he of course offered to make me some good old porridge for breakfast. And that's when I saw it. He had a huge 25-kilo bag of oats just sitting next to the fridge. He just looked at me dead ass and said, "I'm gonna use them all eventually." And the thing is, he's right. One of the huge advantages of these dried vegan staples is you can really take advantage of eating them in bulk. You don't need a family of 4 to take advantage of Costco sizes, especially if it's something you eat often, and the prices are always cheaper in bulk. Not to mention, it also gives you the chance to have those fancy picture-perfect glass jars where you can store all your ingredients and look super pro. But until now, I've mostly been talking about dried food. So what about fruits and veggies? Is there a way to save on those? That's where the next hack comes in. Don't you hate buying strawberries just to throw them out because they seem to get moldy before even making it to the self-checkout? I definitely do, but I found a way around that. This hack doesn't only save you money, but it'll also make your produce even more nutritious. And the trick is to buy them frozen. Frozen fruits are cheaper. For example, if we compare the fresh versus the frozen blueberries in a Walmart, you'll see that it's around 40% cheaper to buy frozen. Not to mention the savings from not having to throw them out and buy them again. And as an added bonus, since they're frozen at the peak of ripeness, they maintain their nutrition there, versus the fruit that has been left sitting out in the grocery store. And the same trick doesn't just apply to fruits, it applies to vegetables too. Now, keep in mind, you might find some instances where frozen might be more expensive, but for the most part, frozen produce is a great way to save some cash. Do you hate spending loads of money when eating out? If you've ever ordered something vegan, you've probably noticed there's always a vegan fee, which is really annoying because eating out is expensive as is. But I found some tricks you can use to continue to enjoy nice restaurant meals without the vegan upcharge. So what you have to do is look for ethnic, can I say that? Restaurants. So think Indian, Thai, Arab. A lot of the dishes you'll find on those menus like tadka dal, chana masala, falafel, tofu curry are all going to be just regular items on those menus, and they just happen to be vegan. Never a bad idea to just double check with the restaurant just in case. And with this trick, you might even end up paying less than some of the meat options. Probably not though. Of course, the other option is to simply eat out less, which is kind of a lame tip to give, but the next hack does make that much easier. So this next hack will help you eat more delicious, healthy meals way more often and more cheaply. This one also requires an upfront cost, but if you're following some of the other tips on the list, it goes well with them. And it's not unique to being vegan either, but I find being vegan makes it easier to do. And it's the perfect way to get the most out of an Instant Pot and bulk buying dried legumes and whole grains. It's meal prepping. You don't even have to meal prep everything. It could just be your lunches if you go to the office, or lunches and dinners, whatever you find is manageable. And with an Instant Pot, you can find loads of recipes done in under an hour, so you're not using half of your Sunday to prepare for the week. And this way you'll have less temptation to order DoorDash because you'll already have some amazing meals in the fridge ready to go. All right, so we all love bread, right? What if you could make it cheaper and more healthy? Well, this next hack is going to turn your bread into a cheap and convenient source of protein and fiber. And you could be saving up to 50% every week on bread. All you have to do is make your own flatbread. Yeah, it's probably not the bread you had in mind, but it's still good, all right? Anyways, there's a really easy way to do it. And I'm not normally one to recommend making your own stuff, but this one only requires one ingredient. Water and salt don't count. You just soak the lentils, blend them with the salt and water, and heat it in a pan for flatbread. It's that easy. The Whole Food Plant-Based Cooking Show has a great video on it. Now you've got amazing ways to save money on food, but you might not be able to take advantage of them because Once you bottle the food, you might not know how to put it together into delicious everyday meals. So check out this video next, where I'll show you exactly what I eat in a day and how it gets me all my daily protein.